Life's a game. The world's a stage, and we are merely role-players where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt Boothman, and I'm your compere for this main house production. Here on Merely Role-Players, we improvise stories to entertain ourselves, and also yourselves. And we use role-playing games to keep the story going places even we can't see coming, because, as theatrical people, we want things to be all drama, all the time. This episode is part of our current main house production, Vigil Backstage. To create this story, we're playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat. So please take your seats in the main house. Tonight's production is about to begin. Vigil, a Merely Role-Players main house production. Ill-Wind, Act 5 of 5.
I'm Ellie and I play Peggy Tailor, the Crooked. She's travelled the world for the last 20 years, running impressive cons with her grifter network. The last job, though, it went bad. Real bad. And she's come home to lie low.
I'm Nat, and I play Gwynned, the Divine. Gwyn was once a Shieldmaiden of the triple goddess, the Morrigan. After interfering with one of her schemes by rescuing a mortal man, the Morrigan banished Gwyn to live life as a duck in what became Sherrydown's duck pond. Now released from her curse thousands of years later, Gwyn is trying to forge a new life, but is finding it difficult to stay under the radar.
I'm Vicky, and I play Renko the Flake. Renko is a Doom agent on furlough who was assigned to Sheridan and is now convinced something significant is happening in town.
Hi there, my name's Alexander Pankhurst and I play Graham the Summoned. Graham's just your average accountant, who happens to be a demon, and is destined to bring about the apocalypse.
The tip is coming to town, flowing across the ground, something alchemical.
The Tailor family seems to be making some sort of potion.
There are herbs that might approximate a similar effect.
The best way would be to extract all of the magical items.
Maybe we can remove it at the water treatment plant.
You come across another van taking a similar route to you.
They're all going to die if they keep doing what they're doing.
We don't have time to deal with an apocalypse this afternoon, guys.
Graham feels the van accelerating. I hear the let it go now. The van doors I open and they swing out and I just shoot because I believe they're called scorpions. So I just shoot it out and the last things I see are the driver and passenger just going like that as they're
just eyes wide. What happens to the van? So obviously it goes over the strip, all of its tyres blow, it starts to fishtail.
It will weave around a lot, but it will just slow down because I think they also put on the brakes.
Yes.
Because they see me and they're like, whoa.
Because Harold Longridge is all about safety.
Yes, he is he's been driving safely in the first place, right?
Yeah.
That's why you were able to overtake them so easily.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, he's able to, pump the brakes in that way that brings the van to a safe stop. On its rims. And you leave them in the dust. Leave them on the dual carriageway. Mm-hmm. Now you know that you do have to really pull this trick off, because otherwise they are going to be in the path and unable to get away because their van won't drive. As Peggy's Tailor delivery van drives up to the waste treatment plant in the dead of night, boiling, steaming, acidic goo closing in from all sides. What sign do we see?
So actually, the sign of the apocalypse is me opening the van doors, and it's the portal opens. So that's the sixth sign of the apocalypse. We've got one left.
So basically, as the van doors opened, that was the point where the halo of flies had fully reformed.
Yes.
So the van doors opened, flies everywhere. Or in fact, they flew in the open doors to meet you. They're now back round your head again. And there was definitely, there were sparks. There was a sense of fire as the back doors of the van opened, sort of rimmed in flame.
And the track that was on at the time had some sort of discordant organ music that came in, and then the squeal of the electric guitar over the top, perfectly timed.
Yeah, we've established that some of Graham's secretions are a bit flammable. So the back doors of the van stay open, and as the van is pulling up to the waste treatment plant at great speed, because Peggy's very reckless, it's actually gouting flame out of the back like it's jet propelled.
Very metal. Yeah.
Time to bail out, I think.
There are no staff. The plant is running. It does seem to, it's partly water driven. It's enough out of town to be on a slightly separate circuit to the rest of the town's electricity, so it's still operational.
You'll just hear a flurry of feathers and a thud, and Gwynned's on the roof.
Graham steps out of the back of the flaming portal and cheerfully waves at Gwyn and goes, "You're not going to throw me into any walls now, are you? I do hope not."
The halo of flies has a definite crown-like
What is this?
thing to it.
Well, we had to stop some people from coming here because we knew it was for their own good.
And this is not troubling you at all?
What, the flies or the flames?
Both.
Oh no, the flames. Flames are very much my sort of my happy place, if you will. And the flies, I think I've taken a shine to them after a fashion. I've tried to start naming them, but they are quite numerous.
I've walked away.
I love the idea that the closer we get to the apocalypse, the more at home Graham is feeling with everything. Things are just feeling right for him, and he's just it just feels.
Everything's coming up great.
It just feels good. Everyone else is impending sense of doom, and Graham's just just got a nice cozy hygge feeling. Oh, I love it.
It's like being in a warm bar.
Yeah,
it's Graham's hygge.
Yeah, exactly. He takes that first sip of tea. He's just feeling good.
You can hear the rumbling of the machinery, the churning of liquid at the treatment plant, and it begins to meld with the approaching, bubbling, churning sound of the landfill tide, and everything that's been bursting up out of the Sheridan sewers, approaching from a slightly different direction, everything converging on this place. You have a short time to lay your trap before this place becomes an island in a sea of corrosive magical corruption.
I'm going to run straight to the filtration system as fast as my little squiddy legs can carry me.
Did you discover anything in your grimoire about helping to remove some of these talismans?
There is one spell which I think will work, which is about attracting magical objects, which I've used, to collect useful items.
I did not hear that.
But I think in this instance we could use it to boost Graham's attractiveness.
Yeah.
To the objects, to be clear.
Am I getting a makeover?
Yes. You're getting a glow up.
It's your glow up, Graham.
Surely, though, if they're attracted to you because they want to repel you, we need to make you worse.
Yes.
There is a chance he's going to become even more repugnant.
Yeah. It's a Graham glow up.
Sure. Yeah. So you can look out for more flies.
Yeah.
Do we not see this at all as a problem?
We do. We do.
My experience of it before is that it creates a sort of aura that acts like a magic magnet. I don't think it's actually going to materially change who he is. We just place it upon him as I have placed it upon myself previously.
And then it'll go away again.
Yeah, it only lasts a few hours.
Okay.
Oh, right. Well, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the control room to see if there's anything I can do to help from there.
Do we think the magical items and talismans that we are going to attract to Graham, we previously suggested would do him harm?
Mm-hmm.
Do we think there's actually a chance that he might be banished in this process?
Not an impossibility.
Good.
Gwyn is. Oh, God.
Doesn't seem to be anything bad about this
Gwyn is
plan.
like, 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah, it's my favourite.
I mean, I'm sort of envisaging what they need to do is set up some sort of system where the stuff gets attracted to him, but then we catch it ahead of it actually.
Because it's like a filter, so it's like he's behind something.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was envisaging.
Because the ultimate goal is these magical items not to be in the goo anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're collecting.
But they also don't make physical contact with Graham.
That's the point.
That's the good state. That's the full success version.
That's the full success version of what's about
But who
to not
knows whether
happen.
that filter system will maintain its structural integrity if we were to roll badly.
Yeah.
Quite.
Sure. And so Renko's heading to the control room. You find sort of control panels, levers, wheels, and all sorts of things to control sluice gates and flow and filter gates and all these sorts of things. Graham's heading straight to the heart of the matter, like the central tank, the central chamber. It's dark. It's sort of only lit by occasional floodlights. Normally, people wouldn't need to be in here, so it's quite this kind of sinister space. It smells awful, but Graham doesn't mind. Peggy's gonna cast a spell. Do you need to be like casting it on Graham, or can you do it from somewhere else?
I can do it from somewhere else as long as I've got him visualised,
great.
which of course might make me gip, but I know him, so I can do that.
Yeah, and what's Gwynn's role here, either officially or secretly?
As Graham leaves, she will just say, "Do not get banished right now. As much as I would quite enjoy that, you have information I require. I do not have time for that now."
Okay. I'll do my best.
I'm going to stay eyes in the sky, ready to either swoop down and grab anything that looks like it's going to go through the barrier to touch Graham, or if anything else starts coming too close, keep an eye on the other half of it.
You're in protection mode.
Yeah, ready to dive in and do as and what we need.
Yeah. Graham, with this crown of flies and the remnants of flame still flickering around, strides into this cathedral of filth.
Title of my next album.
Yeah.
Yep. I would listen to that.
Filters and gates and like the stirrers, the big mechanical stirrers, all sort of whir into life around in the tanks around you, controlled by Renko up in the control room. Peggy, where do you want to cast your spell from?
Do I have a good view of everything from the control room?
Yeah.
So I think I'd go up there with Renko.
Up there through the glass. Yeah. You can
it also
see
feels
Graham.
like safer.
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah, for the two ordinary humans.
Yeah.
Mostly ordinary
soft and
humans.
squidgy, keep us
So
away.
soft and squidgy, yeah.
Yeah. What does this look like? We've not seen Peggy cast magic before, I don't think.
I think it's quite boring because Peggy's not into the woo-woo aspect of it at all.
And, the magic is able to be quite functional in this world. And, in the olden days when magic was just something that people accepted was a thing, almost like physics. It was like you put some stuff in a jar, like there was no woo-woo chanting and things like that. You put some stuff in a jar and you bury it in the garden and then you've done magic.
Yeah.
So Peggy's almost like back in that tradition.
Yeah. I don't know how you'll feel about this. I think the sort of old way of doing it, from the sorcerer that she obtained the grimoire from, he said what his family used to do is they would they'd use the spell, rewrite it on a fresh piece of parchment in blood, and then burn it. And that would be how they activate the spell. What I do is I type out an email on my phone and I send it to myself and I delete it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
nice.
it.
It's soulless.
Yeah, it's a very tech-forward way as well.
Which might be foreshadowing.
And that's nice that you're up in the control room at this view screen because you can snap a quick pic of Graham to use as like the targeting component.
Attach.
Yeah, attach that image. Yeah, absolutely.
Roll for it. Give us a roll plus weird.
I'm afraid I have a 0 for weird.
But you've read your grimoire.
I have read my grimoire, I get a +1.
That's what we'll take it.
3 and a 4. So
7 plus 1 is 8. So it works, but there's a glitch.
Okay.
You choose the glitch.
Oh, let's go for problematic side effects.
The magic works. Despite the soulless casting, it's effective. It's modern. It's efficient. So Gwyn hovering above, flying in slow circles above the plant, you can actually see the glitter of small objects in the approaching slime tide starting to move through it faster than the general body is moving as they are attracted towards the waste treatment plant. Only because you're now fully divine can you see this subtlety. They're being attracted to two different sources within the waste treatment plant, as Peggy has, unfortunately, as an unwanted side effect of this spell, also made herself a trinket magnet.
But you're not going to get harmed by the trinkets, so that's you can collect them yourself.
Yeah, you're fine for them to just hit you,
Right.
arrive in your hand.
I've just got an image of Peggy just getting beaten around the face with little
amulet.
There's a rabbit's foot.
You can feel this. You've cast this spell on yourself before, so you know what it feels like.
Yeah.
Can I fly down to the control room and offer you a lift? Renko, are you alright in here on your own?
I guess I'll have to be.
Give me a call if you need me.
Yep, will do.
Hop on.
All right then.
And I will stay in the air, but we'll keep an eye out for sort of suitable safe places or strategic places to pop you down if we think it's going to be useful for you to be near the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you could put me with Graham, because then the filtration system will catch everything that comes at both of us.
Instantly I was like, do I trust Graham to protect you? Given one of my main problems with Graham is that he has failed to protect mortals I like. But yes, we have the filtration system there as well. So yes, I will take you to Graham.
Okay. I'm not thrilled.
No.
It's a horrible experience for you.
Look after this one this time.
Sure, okay. I look at Peggy. She's very intense, isn't she?
She is, but you smell very intense.
I think that's just the general ambiance, Peggy.
The smell has got
Capital T, capital S.
Baby.
unbearable. Gwyn is sort of to some extent protected, although you're still kind of close enough to mortal kind, or I think it's your wanting to be close to them means you are susceptible to some of their weaknesses.
I mean, woman has a nose, right?
Yeah, you got a nose.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to scent things in the forests, and so you are sensitive. And for Renko's a little bit shielded in the control room.
Thank God.
Peggy, this is getting unbearable. Like your eyes are watering, you can't see straight. Your airways are burning. That last thing you managed to say to Graham is the last thing you're able to say before stuff starts getting real bad. As the tide converges on the waste treatment plant. Gwyn, as you fly back up into the air, you can see it rearing up like cresting waves from the two directions that it's arriving here in to come over the walls and into the tanks to start questing.
Can I, before I leave, if I just rip a little bit of the actual fabric I'm wearing, not the magical glamour fabric I'm wearing, would you allow me a sort of a druid crafty style, I'm going to make this fabric smell nice.
Yeah.
And give it to Peggy to wrap around her face.
100%. Yeah, you can do that. No trouble.
Thank you.
Hopefully this will help somewhat.
And it, for a criminal, it's a great look.
Yeah.
The bandana over the bottom half of your face.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think also Peggy's now looking at Gwen a little bit like, oh, that was quite sexy.
It's not like sweet floral. It's like pine forest.
Yeah,
that sort of moss.
But the move you've just done is basically like when in a traditional rom-com where the male hero finds a woman who has sprained her ankle and he rips his shirt asunder to bind it.
But take the shirt
I'm just
off.
giving you a lift over some sludge as well.
Yes.
The tanks start to fill up with this thing's form. And it's still like there is an animal sentience to it. Like there was this drive to combine and become whole and meet up with parts of itself and to consume and that sort of thing. But there is no, even now it's mostly together. It has no voice. It's not talking to you. It's not sort of threatening. It is just spilling through the channels of the treatment plant. Already, Renko, you start to see red lights flicking on your control panel as it eats through important components.
Oh dear.
But for the moment, the plan seems to be working as against the metal mesh filters around the tank that Peggy and Graham are standing in. You start to hear the tink, tink, plink, plink of small metal trinkets and little bone effigies and things starting to slam into those meshes, attracted to you.
Do I get the sense that as Graham and Peggy are there as a distraction, if I were to do a bit of smacking, because we do need to still smack it, if I do a bit of smacking now, will it be distracted enough that I won't take as much harm?
And also, I mean, maybe this will be a way in which I can help. Can I try and dilute it?
Interesting.
Yeah,
by introducing clean water.
So we're already pulling some of the magical items out of it, which is helping. Diluting it would certainly help, and being able to, you've got it penned where you want it, so you're in a decent sort of position to strike at it.
When I attack from ambush, I inflict +2 harm, which I feel like dispensing a whole lot of fresh water into this situation should count as.
Gwynned, as you fly back up and you start to form these strategies, you feel a hand in your pocket, a friendly half-mother hand in your slipping.
It's a new one. I've not heard of that one.
Just a little disembodied half-mother hand
in your pocket.
And a kiss on your cheek.
Oh.
As the half-mother slips, it's not alkahest, but it's the closest she can get in the time. A herbal potion into one of your pockets.
Much appreciated. All right, well, in that case, as Renko is doing whatever filtration, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to scatter that. Just going to pour it in everywhere.
Liberal sprinkling.
Yeah. So Renko's doing this kind of infusion of cold water, and Gwyn is adding this potion to that water, so that we're diluting it with something that's going to hurt it.
I guess if Renko's from the filtration system, which I'm imagining is further away from Graham and Peggy, I'll probably start with the swell that's closest to them with my potion.
Vicky, I mean, you sort of talked yourself into a kick some ass here, which is not your greatest role.
Yeah, I know, it's not. But, I mean, I've got luck to spend, haven't I? Yeah. So, what's the worst?
Everyone else is doing it.
You're in a very good position because you're attacking using instruments from afar. So this can go wrong still, but you're reasonably well defended.
Yeah, I feel like my worst case scenario is couldn't pull the right lever to make
or like
the water
make it
come
angry
out.
and it hurts someone else.
Could happen.
But you might win.
Let's
roll well.
Let's see. So it's a -1 on the old kick some ass, but let's see what happens. That is a 6, -1 is a 5, so I guess we're spending some luck. And it's pretty good when I spend a bit of luck because I pick an aspect of the current situation and the keeper will tell you what other conspiracies that aspect connects to. We could do that in a... Yeah.
As you're manipulating instruments and creating connections between the water systems, your mind is also creating connections.
Can't be stopped.
So with a full success and with Gwynned having scattered the potion into here, you get your +2 harm from being sneaky because you are attacking from ambush.
Yep.
What level of harm should I make this attack do?
It's water.
But it's a large volume of water
deadly
that has
H2O.
and it's been magically enhanced and sneaky enhanced.
Yeah.
It's buff water.
It's real buff water. Smart water.
Yes.
And I think this is going to ignore its armour as well.
Yeah, how's it going to defend itself against some water?
This is chemistry, right? This isn't hitting.
It's not hydrate or die, it's hydrate and die.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm going to give it +2. I'm going to give it 2 harm base, +2 for the magical accompaniment, +2 for sneaky. Gives it 6.
Woof.
Yes, very good. Luck worth spending.
Hydrate that motherfucker.
In the tank, in the central tank, Peggy and Graham, you start to see even more of these trinkets hitting the mesh as the whole form of this thing is diluted and just has less of a strong gloopy hold on this stuff. The whole of it just seems to be a little bit less thick now. The flip side of that is you start to feel your feet getting wet, both of you, as parts, some of the water that Renko's infused and some of the diluted creature find their way through various different channels and pipes and filters. Peggy, the soles of your shoes start to smoke.
Yeah, that's spicy acid water.
Yeah.
Oh no, am I going to have to mount Graham?
I was just thinking that. I was like, this woman is climbing on a tentacle.
Graham's going to do one better, and he's basically just going to pick you up and try and hang you on the filters.
Yeah.
So that you can, because you can probably clamber up the filters.
Sure.
So that is how I'm picturing it, is he's just going to move you up and put you onto the filters out of the reach of the acid water.
Okay.
What do I need to roll to do that?
That'll be a protect someone, which will be a plus tough. And
Plus
as
tough.
Graham picks up Peggy, you start to hear a creak as some of the filters start to give way under the corrosion of this thing's body.
Okay, so this is plus tough, which is plus 3 for me.
You're very tough.
And that is a 5-8. That is an 8. Okay.
So on protect someone, I believe that means you can protect Peggy, but you'll take some or all of the harm that she was going to take.
I will take the harm.
Great. As a lot of these trinkets and artifacts are getting caught in the filters now, magnetized towards you. But some of that essence is still in this water that is starting to fill up the tank around your feet. So your tentacles start to sizzle. And in fact, you hear one of the filters somewhere in the system give way, corroded, and you hear the ping, 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 ping of something coming through that pipe, attracted magnetically to you. And a warding emblem of some description, like a little commemorative coin with a saint on it, flies out of a pipe and slaps onto the side of your neck and starts to burn you as well. So you're going to take 3 harm that Peggy would have taken.
Do you
otherwise.
have armour?
Oh, mine
In fact, no, we'll reduce that because you only take some of the harm Peggy was going to take. So you take 2 and then
which is
reduce
ignored
armor.
because I've got armour.
Renko, you are seeing more and more of these warning lights on the panel as the fabric of this treatment plant is getting corroded away. More and more of these pipes and filters are just giving way, and all of your power to corral this stuff with sluice gates is being eroded. Gwyn, you can see areas of the plant where the bulk of this creature is concentrating and rearing to try to slam through into that central tank where those two are.
I'm going to fly down and hit that chunk.
Go for it. As you fly down, it, like before, sort of a tower of it rears up like a wave. Chunky bits of waste stuck in it, trying to swing round to bludgeon you out of the air.
Okay.
It's got a bit less structural integrity now. It's been diluted, but
actually, no, yeah, it's fine. Okay, so it's a 7 plus 3, so it's 10.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's swinging at you. You're swinging at it. What options would you like?
I think at this point, I know we've not quite got the Alcahest yet, but I want to make sure we've got it down as much as possible before it comes in. So I will inflict terrible harm. So I do 5 harm.
You
to
do
it.
5 harm.
I just fly through the damn thing.
yes,
Spinning quarterstaff, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, you slam through it. As you sort of enter its form, like your quarterstaff is spinning and dispersing it, but at the same time it is trying to like slam all of these bits of bulky waste and glass and concrete, like to crush you as you fly through it. It's moving all of these bits of solid stuff into the way to try to deflect as much of the blow as possible. So we're going to reduce that with armor, but you still deal 3 harm to it. You take 4.
Reduce to 3.
Reduce to 3 by your armor.
I can't take any more hits. I need to get that potion.
And as you fly through, and this tower of stuff that it has raised to defend against you rears up and starts to collapse. It starts to collapse over the divider into the tank that Graham and Peggy are in. Peggy is high enough up that this isn't immediate, like you might get splashed, but you're sort of clinging to this filter and you're not immediately going to get like submerged. Graham is in a position to immediately go under.
I am going to start to try and climb up the side so that I can get a bit of higher ground.
Great. Act under pressure. Roll plus cool.
Roll plus cool. That's a +1. That is a 6, 7. That's an 8.
You can climb, but you're not going to avoid the worst of it. Like you can climb, but you'll take damage as you get out of the danger zone.
I'm going to use my last point of luck.
Oh my god.
What? What does it mean?
Apocalypse, baby.
So he's been feeling chipper the entire time. You don't see him climb up. You see him submerge and disappear.
He stands in the centre of this. Peggy has the best view of this. Renko can see it from the control room. Gwynned can see it from very high up. as this wave of corruption pours over the side of this tank. Graham makes no move, stands strong in the centre of the tank as it submerges him fully.
As the water covers me, you hear a large exhalation. Finally. And slowly, up out of the filth and rot and decay and detritus, Graham ascends in his true form. A much, much better looking character. Still very snappily dressed. Still smoking on his cigarette. But where his legs were are just tentacles that reach down to the floor. And they are on fire. And he sits around, he looks at you all and goes, not quite the way I was intending it to pan out, but here we are. And I lean up and one of my tentacles is going to grab Gwynned and slam her against the wall.
Oh, no. Jesus.
I mean, she would try and dive down and attack in return. Like, instantly seeing you rise would have been like the sort of the horror, and then the sort of like the vindication.
Yeah.
Vindication.
Renko's just horrified in the control room, just like, what?
Yeah.
There's been like this doubt and this paralysis in Gwynned that has sort of stopped her from fully engaging with Graham.
Yeah.
Like there's always been this idea of, oh, maybe this intuition I have about him is wrong. And in this moment there is only conviction.
Yeah.
Roll kick some ass. Plus tough.
Oh, okay. That's a 9 on the dice plus 3, so that's a 12.
Alex, what are you trying to harm Gwynned or just fling her away?
I'm trying to fling her into a wall in retaliation for her doing the same to me earlier. This is vindictive. This is a spiteful manoeuvre. I'm not really considering the amount of harm I'll do. I think there is an arrogance to it. It's just like...
Yeah, being flung through several walls feels like a 3 harm sort of thing to me.
Yeah.
And so, with that in mind, which kick some ass option would you like?
I think actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the plus 10 to give Peggy 1 forward.
Ooh.
Oh, thank you.
To get out of this awful situation.
Get out of dodge.
You're very close to a lot of bad.
Two higher beings are fighting.
And I will spend a luck to avoid all harm.
Okay. How much harm do you do, Graham?
4.
I will mark that down.
Does that do any more because it's holy?
Graham's harm track increases by the harm track of the midden homunculus that he has just fully consumed. Good news. The midden homunculus is no longer a threat. It's been entirely sucked up and consumed into the body of this demon.
Okay.
You don't have to deal with that anymore.
I wish I felt happier about that.
Yeah.
Will your potion still work?
Let's give it a try.
Oh, Graham.
You do have a lot of trinkets around that are specifically to defend against Graham, which is another advantage potentially in your court. But he is very strong and can eat a lot of damage now.
How far have I been yeeted?
I think you've been yeeted through a couple of walls.
Yeah.
So you're probably sort of like in another area. You're probably in, I think you're in the staff room.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. In what way do you avoid the harm from that? Is it just like arms crossed over your chest?
Yeah, I think it's just like full
wings.
wings have formed like a ball.
Brace for impact.
Renko just sees like this ball of feathers just go boop, 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 past you.
He goes, oh,
Peggy is still sort of climbing up a filter. There's no danger for dropping anymore because you wouldn't drop into acidic goo, but you are in this tank with a demon who doesn't seem to be paying much attention to you. And Renko, you're still in the control room. What does Graham do?
Graham is going to notice Peggy. And is just going to pick her up with a tentacle and put her on higher ground and leave her there. Consider it as a favour. You now owe me one.
Who doesn't Peggy out at this point? The devil, this guy.
I'm going to then turn to Renko.
Oh boy.
The tentacles are going to start swarming over and out of the container, and it'll kind of glue to the underside of the control room, so that my head is just popped up.
Let's not eyeballing each other.
No, and Graham's just going to look at Renko. You always had your doubts about me, didn't you?
I mean, I think those have turned out to be quite well founded, to be honest with you.
Alarmingly accurate, you could say. Alarmingly accurate. What should I do to you? See it from my perspective. I've had quite some time here being ridiculed, talked down to, generally besmirched in every which way, when I've only ever been pleasant, and it appears that you're only really starting to understand my true potential now that I've, how can I put it, turned on you.
No, I think I always had a sense of your true potential. I was just hoping it wouldn't come to this.
I'm sensing some indecision. It must be so difficult for you. And think about it from my perspective. I've sat here and watched you all whiffle around trying to defeat very, very powerful beings to different levels of success. I mean, after all, I was summoned here. And I think that's something that you've all forgotten, is that as much as summoning a demon, it's like ringing a doorbell. Anyone, any arsehole can ring a doorbell, can't they? But you've just got to open the door, and that's the demon's responsibility. I don't get pulled forth from the inferno. No. I get to choose whether or not I arrive here. So I've chosen to arrive here.
So what Renko is helpfully doing here is keeping Graham monologuing, being a receptive audience.
I'm a very receptive audience for monologuing.
As Gwyn recovers from being thrown into the staff room, and also Peggy is still in this tank with all of these talismans. What are you doing, Nat? Why have you just rolled dice?
I wanted the monologue to happen, but
it was
also
great.
Gwyn has just teleported back to Peggy, and I would like to cast out evil, please.
Oh, here we
Seems
go.
fair.
Which has historically not gone well, but I have just rolled a 10 plus my tough, which is 13.
Yes, she has.
Unlucky for some.
Of all the times to roll a success now, this was the one. I mean,
Get off front of me, out of here.
Yeah.
It is banished. So Gwyn teleports next to Peggy. It appears and she's
I imagine
looking.
he's getting closer and closer to Renko throughout this monologue but then Renko, with your keen eye for falsehood and trickery, you can see just behind him something approaching.
Yeah.
So because you're on the roof, you're kind of above where his attention is, so I'm able to fly behind your head. Staff spinning with flames that gets larger and larger, and she throws it towards the back of your head.
Just as you do that, I'm going to turn around and ask the question, what do you think you're doing? And it hits me full in the face.
I'm going to hit the deck. Drop and roll.
Stop, drop and roll.
Yeah.
Are you doing fire cut? Yeah, exactly. Nothing happens for a little while. But then, and Graham starts laughing because he thinks nothing's occurred. But then his tentacles just start to seem to slowly dissolve into feathers.
Oh boy.
From the base of the tentacles all the way up to his face. He takes one last look at you all, takes a toke on the cigarette and goes, "Be seeing you," and disappears.
That will not keep him at bay for long. We should leave.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. We're both like, oh God. Soft and squidgy, please take us home.
I need a cup of tea.
Gwyn will take Peggy and Renko to the cave, the Morrigan cave, and we'll sort of storm in. Obviously, doesn't have to explain anything because they've seen everything, they know everything. Have we seen any other sign of Camlin and Jess? I feel like we're going to need the whole team at full strength.
Sudden curtain.
Yeah.
The suddenest.
Snap back out.
Really quickly.
That is bonkers. I didn't see that coming
The
today.
rest of them are
Good.
Like
So glad. That was satisfying as
Alex, how are you doing that on purpose?
so
We should keep this a
satisfying.
secret from the others, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Woo! All right, lovies. It's me, Matt, your compere, still reeling. I hope you enjoyed Vigil Ill-Wind. If you did, now is a good time to tell a friend about the show, and or seek us out on Instagram and Tumblr, and throw us a rose emoji on the post that's about this episode. Stay tuned right now for the credits and the epilogue. Then in a week's time, we'd like to invite you backstage for an after-show discussion with the cast all about this production. There's a lot to get into this time, so that's quite a meaty episode. Then we'll take a break for a couple of weeks. And unusually, after those couple of weeks, instead of closing the main house and going into the studio, because of some backstage recording shenanigans and scheduling stuff you don't need to really know about, we are actually going to reopen the main house in a couple of weeks for another Vigil production. Vigil Shadowfall. Natalie Winter, who you've just heard as Gwynned the Shieldmaiden, returns in that role, and she's joined this time by Helen Stratton as Melody the Constructed, Strat as Briar the Monstrous, and Marta da Silva as Harper the Searcher. 2 back-to-back main house productions might mean that we follow that up with 2 back-to-back studio productions. Haven't quite worked out the scheduling yet. I'll tell you as soon as I know. In the meantime, though, tell people about the production, throw us a rose on social media, and stay tuned right now for the credits and the epilogue. This has been Vigil, a main house production from Merely Role Players. It stars Ellie Pitkin as Peggy Tailor, Natalie Winter as Gwynned, Alexander Pankhurst as Graham, and Vicky as Renko, with Ellen Gould as Jess Butterworth. I'm Matt Boothman and I play the supporting cast. Editing and sound design are by me, and the theme music is by Alexander Pankhurst. We were playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Monster of the Week at genericgames.co.nz. Merely Role Players is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on. It pleases the King of Fairyland to retain, for himself and his court, a fortune teller and a jester. That fortune teller and that jester stand before the king now. A shabby man, not especially regal in his clothing or in his bearing, but wearing the woven vine crown of Fairyland, slouches on a plush couch in his throne room, which is really a lot more like the roped-off VIP balcony of an awful club for rich people. There's opulent art hanging on the walls and trinkets on all of the tables and trays of fey champagne being held by unseelie fey with their heads bowed. Old Nick, the king of fairyland, the usurper king, receives Jess and Kit.
So Jess and Kit walk slowly, but with confidence, hands held as much as they can towards this unsightly figure on the throne. And they stop with a good distance between them, but enough to be able to look the man in the eye. We're ready.
Oh, you are you? Had enough of my hospitality already?
Enough and more, sir.
Well, let no mortal nor immortal say that old Nick is not a man of his word. I told you when I admitted you to this court that you could have your freedom if you answered me one riddle.
I've always hated riddles. And I'm guessing whatever nonsense is about to come out of your mouth is not going to change that fact. But we're not going to spend another day, another moment down here playing your stupid games and entertaining these lords and ladies in their folly. We're done. So riddle me, sir.
Strong words, considering if you get this wrong, you are mine for forever and a day.
Well, as my good friend Kit here pointed out, if we don't, that's what's going to happen anyway.
Everyone thinks they can find a loophole when they're dealing with old Nick. Well, try your luck. Your king counts every angle his subject, yet he does not rule England. I do. Your king demands his taxes, but I demand a greater tithe. And when his subjects refuse my tithe, your king takes it tenfold from them at my behest. Who am I? What do you think, mate?
Well, I don't know, do I?
Look, this isn't our answer. This is just discussion. We get some discussion time, okay? Talked about angles. Is it like some sort of wordplay around? Like, is this a maths problem actually?
Well, I thought that at first, but then talking about tithes.
There was a number in there as well. Was it 10? Was it 10 at the end?
10 lots. I think it was just meant to mean loads, wasn't it? Come on, Kit, you've got old knowledge. What's a tithe?
Don't put this on me. It was your idea to do this. I said we weren't ready.
Well, I mean, with that bloody riddle, I'm never going to be ready. It's loads of nonsense. I hate riddles. For God's sake, I can't believe that you've dragged me here and that we're in this stupid bloody position. We're going to get stuck here forever.
I escaped this place and now I'm trapped here again because of you, and it's going to be forever this time.
But you bloody escaped here before. Why can't you do it again?
And it's under worse management this time. This fucker, I'll tell you, he's even worse than the last king and queen.
You are useless, you know that. I can't believe I ever thought you were going to get us out of here. God's sake, Kit, do something.
Among the finery and the sort of the drapery and treasures arrayed around this VIP throne balcony are a set of dummies with sort of fantastical outfits and clothing on them. Kit reaches for something.
He reaches for a staff. Glittery, ornate staff covered in jewels.
Kit grabs this ornate jewelled staff in one hand and with the other hand swings for Jess. Kit has always been insubstantial and capable of sort of psychically making Jess feel like she feels the sensation of touch, but not actually physical himself. Mm-hmm. Kit swings and tackles Jess to the ground holding this staff. He is physical, he has weight.
Jess is momentarily knocked off her feet and taken aback. But as she flails backwards, she twists and turns, and there's a little side table. And on the side table is a bottle of fancy liquor, which she swings and smashes. And both of them get coated in this sticky, fruity concoction.
Just having this messy, inelegant wrestle on the floor of the throne balcony. All right, break it up. The King of Fairyland rises from his seat, seeing his treasures threatened, and walks down 2 short steps.
As he gets closer, the fighting between Jess and Kit seems to get more unruly and more like toddlers. There's kicking, there's hair pulling. Suddenly, Jess can grab fistfuls of Kit's hair, and there's spitting and shouting. But as the king, Old Nick's feet come into their view as they're writhing on the floor, Jess manages to pull Kit's ear to her mouth and says, on the count of 3, are you ready?
With you always, mate.
1, 2. And on 3, they spring apart. Jess is suddenly as insubstantial as Kit normally is. As Kit immobilises him physically, Jess reaches her hands from behind into Old Nick's head and rummages.
And there is so much in there. Centuries, millennia of scheming and resentment and rebellion. And in among all of that, topmost in the king's mind, the answer to his riddle.
And so Jess has got her fingers in all this horrible, sticky, dirty, sooty, spiky nonsense. And grimacing and trying not to be sick, she finds it. And she digs her fingers into it, and she pulls it out, staggers backwards, grabs Kit by the elbow.
Kit lets Nick go. He recovers. He's looking even more shabby and dishevelled, cowed, bent over, going, cheats, dirty, filthy cheats.
We're in Fairyland. What else do you expect us to do? Kit, I've got it. And they turn to him and in unison say, the answer to your riddle is our landlord.
There's no way this counts. You didn't solve that legit. You stole that right out of my head, you little snots.
But that's what we do. And that's what you do. You're the biggest trickster of them all, aren't you, Old Nick?
I suppose by the letter of the law you've won your freedom, but can you make use of it? Guards, seize them!
Run, Kit! And we split and do one half of a circle each around the perimeter of this throne room, causing as much chaos as we can.
Knocking things over.
Pouring wine over guardsmen. And as we go, Jess is grabbing anything that's shiny, that's interesting looking. She's got a set of bangles, she's got a coronet, she's got a cloak. She picks up a very nice shiny dagger. But last and not least, as she passes one of the fairy guards, she snatches from his waist belt a pouch that she recognises and yells, Kit, to me, now!
He was already circling round. You didn't even need to say it out loud. You're of one mind in this moment.
And they reach the precipice of the cliff. And just before they leap, she throws the open bag in front of them. And a fairy ring appears in midair. And together, they leap.
They won't keep.
Got feathers in your mouth.
Foggy outline, undivide your world.